I'm here too.
Good evening, everyone.
Hello.
Yes, okay, gotta stay in the picture.
Okay. Okay. We're too close.
Readjusting, readjusting.
It's big. Is it different sizes?
No,
different
no, I think it's just the way it is.
I saw a video the other day where it said, "You put out some great videos, but is there any way you can back your face off of the screen because you're so big?" And you know how it's like when you're talking to somebody and they're a little bit too close.
Yeah, yeah, right in your face. How's our volume? Testing 1, 2, 3. We got John Marciano,
Hello, John.
Jane Spitfire,
And Jane.
Monica Kincaid,
And Monica.
and Ruby.
And Ruby.
Faded in San Diego.
And Faded.
Excuse me. Nadine. Hi, Nadine.
Hello.
And Rebecca Wise. Wild Wall. Hello, Wild Wall. I think they can hear that. Let's see. Who else? Shaq. Hi, Shaq. You're probably still at work. Yep.
Wow.
4 o'clock in California.
Work careful.
Yes. Let's see. Raven. Tree Frog. Raven. Evening from Ontario, Canada. Raven Micra. I don't know if you're new, Raven. Let us know if you're new. Rebecca says we're very soft sound. Is there any way we can raise our volume?
No, we can't raise volume.
Okay, what about
raise your volume if you can?
Where's our? We don't have our.
Well, look, a check.
Microphone.
How do we sound to you all, or some of you?
Okay.
Let us know.
My good wife said I upped it. Do we need our microphones?
Could.
I got this in.
Right.
Okay, it's being plugged in.
How are we now?
Does it make a difference? A-OK, Jane Spitfire, Wild Wall. Sound is good to me. Okay, well, let us know.
Keep us posted.
Please, let us know. And Susan Gullen, hello, everyone. Welcome, Susan. So we've got a lot to cover tonight. We've got a lot of short videos. Yeah. We don't want to bore you with long ones. So
but they're kind of interesting. They'll be kind of like challenging to our thinking.
Yep, and some are going to be very encouraging and light.
Yep.
So you want to start, shall we start with
birthdays,
the birthdays? February. This is February 2025. So February 1st was Trudy Lynn, Daniel Bartels, Norma Jean Bennett. February 4th, Joe's sister Marcella and our niece Erica, and Heather's daughter. She was 9 years old. The 8th, Del Real Love and Emily Dilger. On the 10th, on Monday, was our daughter Liddy and Debbie Moore, Vivian, and Dinah Loss Dad. Let's see, yesterday was the 11th, and our great niece was born, and her name is Ava Rose. She was 8 pounds and very healthy. Her father, Matt Malecki, is coming up tomorrow on the 13th. That's our nephew.
Was that right?
Yeah. So she was born yesterday, so 2 days away from his birthday. Stacy DeYoung on the 13th. On the 17th, Matthew Goldman. On the 20th, Mr. CIA, he's going to be 77 years old. Happy birthday, Mr. CIA. And
you're the
Chris,
best.
Yep, and Chris Parsons. You're still a little cut off here. Okay. On the 21st, Tara Rice. The 22nd, Deanna June. And my brother, Pete Pinella. On the 23rd, Tony Pittio. And the 24th, Brian Brown. 27th, Vanessa Braychek, Colin Plummer. And on the 29th, which would be a leap year, we don't have a 29th this year, is Susan Carmack. So we want to wish all of our February birthdays a happy birthday, Mark Taft. So we'll have a birthday song now for our birthdays.
Happy birthday! Happy birthday!
Okay, happy birthday. So if anyone else's birthday is in February, please let us know in the chat. And we'll be checking. Hi, Beverly. Beverly Harward says hello. And let's see, did we miss anyone else? I think, okay, we're all set there. And we have a few anniversaries. Oh, thank you, Shauna. Hold on. Okay. All right, let's see, February 4th, anniversary, 39 years for Severia and Bernard. And the 19th is Ken Mayo and Dina, his wife, Dina, 42 years. So happy anniversary. Happy anniversary.
Yeah.
We're about to have a beautiful time. To throw a party tonight. Hey. It's been a really long day for me. I should be living my life. Hey. Because time won't wait for me. I ought to throw a party tonight. Hey. Me and my friend, and I'll be happy that I made it. Yeah, to the end of the day, that's right. So I guess I'll throw a party tonight. Hey.
That's the birthdays and anniversaries, and I think there's a meetup this Saturday if you're in the Washington D.C. area at the San Antonio Bar and Grill, Washington D.C. from 4 to 6. You can look that up online. It's the San Antonio Bar and Grill, Washington D.C. from 4 to 6 on the 15th. And then on the 23rd, there's an online meetup for anybody that's in the Liberati group or you want to join. They're from all over the world, and this is an online meetup at 2:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's the Liberati, February 23rd. If anyone else knows of any meetups, please let us know. And I think that's it for our announcements. So you want to play the Norway 5
Oh,
minute?
yeah, that's a great, nice
Yep.
short way update.
Yeah, our friends from Norway.
Yeah, you'll appreciate this. Everyone is so many of these.
To you. Are you telling me which one?
That
Send
one.
it to me. Send them to me, and I'll send them to Shauna.
And here I am in Oslo with these fine people from all over the world. And they agreed to just present themselves shortly, not the whole life story,
here we have.
Hi, I'm Adis. I'm from Iceland. I'm here in Oslo to support all the ExJW witnesses that are going to court. So,
Hello, I'm Rodrike. I'm also from Iceland, and I'm here to support. Also the XJ witnesses who have suffered all the evil that's going on inside there. So I'm here to show them a friendly face.
Hi, my name is Malin Brandt. I'm from Iceland. What was I going to say? Something very smart. Yeah, I am here with the other people to support the Norwegians, the people that have left the congregation, and I think most of us should, most countries should look to Norway and to do what they do.
Hi, I'm Monica Valine Rodriguez from the United States, Minneapolis, Minnesota specifically, and I'm a team member with Stop Mandated Shunning. I've experienced shunning myself, so I know how difficult it is to experience it and talk about it. So here to be supportive to the victims and also spread the word in hopes that this will happen in more countries.
Hola, soy de Mexico. I am from Mexico, and I am here to support the victims of shunning, mandated shunning, and support those who are speaking against this horrible behavior from Jehovah's Witnesses organization. So if anyone around the world can manage to support in whichever way you can this effort, everybody will benefit. So hope you can.
Yes, hello. We are Philippe and Annette from France. I'm from Belgium. I live in France. And we came here for the same reason, to support the ex-witnesses that testified. They have been very courageous, and it takes a lot of strength to stand up in court. And we hope that the Norwegian state will win and that some harmful practices will stop.
My name is Marcus Hicks. I'm from the United States, Seattle, Washington. I'm here as the spouse of an ex-Jehovah's Witness to support everybody in this court trial that's going on.
Hello, my name is Fjóla. I'm from Iceland, and I am here to support the ex-Jehovah's Witnesses. We are all ex-Jehovah's Witnesses, and yes, we are looking forward to see what the government is going to do. Thank you.
Okay, he's pulling the camera up here, darling. Okay.
Okay. Hello, my name is Kirsten. I'm from the United States. I'm Marcus's wife. I'm also an ex-Jehovah's Witness, and I'm here to support the ones that are testifying in court and let them know that they have a lot of support and we love them very much. And what they're doing is very important, that we all speak out and hopefully end this horrible practice of shunning. And I'm just very lucky to be here and feel very grateful to be surrounded by a bunch of people that are very loving, and that's all. I'm not good at this kind of stuff, but but I'm very grateful to be here, and just want to show them as much love and support as we can.
Hi, I'm Jenny Kittim. I'm born and raised. I was born and raised a Jehovah's Witness, but today I'm an investigative journalist from Sweden. And so I'm here covering the court because it's very interesting how the Norwegian government is pushing back on Jehovah's Witnesses, actually not giving them state funding because of the negative social influence to children specifically and the shunning process. And so this will be a very important case for the rest of the world, and especially for Sweden, who are heading in the same direction. Yes.
And I'm Frank from Jensen. I don't know these people. I just came by and they look very nice, but I'm looking forward to learn to know them a little bit more. So it's so exciting being here. So should we end all by saying, Heja Norge? Heja Norge, yeah, Norge. Bye for now. Thank God.
So it's so encouraging what's happening in Norway and pretty soon Sweden. So we are part of that. Everyone is part of it in some way or another. Stop the shunning. With Jimmy Bell's letter writing and Operation Spotlight. There's many things going on now. It's very encouraging, and there's a lot of positive energy. What do you think?
I think there's a lot of negative energy too.
Okay.
To balance it out.
Okay.
I mean, you'd have to be insane not to notice.
Right.
So many people are going through an awful lot of confusion and stress because of everything that they see and hear and think. Best thing we can do is keep an open mind and just keep analyzing what's going on. We don't know the future. Really don't know the future. We've got ideas, but we don't know what it is. It always turns out a little differently than we thought. So that's why it's good just to keep your eyes open. And that's what we're doing now with this. So after these, we can discuss and talk about what you think.
I just wanted to say, Debbie's in the chat, and Debbie's doing much better. She was, about a week and a half ago, she was in very bad shape, but she's doing much better. She's in a nursing facility now. And like she said, I'm just so grateful to be alive. It was a very close call. Yeah. And Debbie, we're very glad you're alive too. We're just so happy you're here. And thank you. So do you want to go right to the next video?
Yeah, let's go right to the video.
Okay, so this one talks about Jehovah and the background of Jehovah. And this is Jason. We've shown Jason before. It's not going to be a long video, so stick with us.
Jews used a false etymology to equate the Roman Sabaoth with their Sabaoth, linking Jehovah, Lord of the Sabbath, with Dionysus Sabaoth. Sabaoth, however you say it. This isn't the white goddess. This is what Robert Graves is conveying, not Jason. I'm not conveying this. Robert Graves has a whole page about this conspiracy in Rome and how they dealt with it. They expelled them. Page 335. The Jewish sect of the Ophites held that Jehovah was a mere demon who had usurped the kingdom of the wise serpent. This is the white goddess, page 336. That Apollo was considered a demon originally is further supported in that Apollo was called Jehovah. Look at this word. Apollo was called Jehovah. Right here. The white goddess, page 382. This means that Apollo is the Western exported demon from the burning bush, Yahweh. Apollo the Destroyer is none other than Yahweh. Even Godfrey Higgins in 1836 notes that Voltaire himself claimed that there were some who claimed that Jehovah signifies destroyer. Anacalypsis, page 329. Do you see the full circle of evidence? Apollo the Destroyer, Apollyon the Destroyer, Abaddon the Destroyer, Abaddon the Destroyer, Yahweh the Destroyer, Jehovah the Destroyer. It's all here. So this means that Apollo is the Western exported demon from the burning bush Yahweh. What is being conveyed here is that the Jews realized we have a problem. When we try to convey our religion in these other cultures by using, Jehovah and Yahweh and all that, it doesn't work. We get expelled, we get thrown out. So they came up with something better. They usurped Apollo. Apollo then became basically the code for Yahweh. Listen, guys, this presentation, when we get to Nemesis and the scales and what all this really means, you're going to have to go back and watch my Occultus Mysterium. I know it's over 4 hours, but I'm showing hundreds of pictures from the medieval and Renaissance period of all these alchemical treatises and these woodcuts and paintings and illustrations and engravings. And I show you where the Jewish stuff is hidden in all of them. And when you look at a female holding a wheel, it's going to take on totally different meaning to you now. You're going to see Apollo everywhere in there. You already saw Phoenix. I pointed out all the references to Phoenix and all the hundreds of them. Now you're going to see Apollo everywhere in there. You're going to realize, wow, all of the alchemical treatises from the medieval period, from the Renaissance period, they're all in honor of Apollo. All these. They're all coded for Yahweh. So, because they knew they couldn't promote Yahwism out openly, they usurped the Greek mysteries. And through the cult of Apollo, they used Apollo as a front for Yahweh, hiding its Jewishness. This is all in here. We're going to get deep into it.
Okay, and then there's one more section where now Jason moves forward and is talking about the pharmaceutical and how this relates to what happened in 2020. So this is only like 4 minutes.
Because the subject is human fertility, the symbolism conveys that the peace taken from the earth is the act of humans delivering the toxon to one another that aids in the going forth conquering and to conquer. Do you understand what's being conveyed here? Each horseman is fulfilling even more of the scheme and agenda of the horse preceding it. What started off as the pharmaceutical companies initiating something, now they're no longer needed. They can be burned. They can be prosecuted, imprisoned. This is what the kingdom of darkness has always done. When the snake slows off its skin, it appears as something else. So now it's time to burn all those like Fauci and everybody who was involved. They're going to get prosecuted. All kinds of things are going to happen to them, and the people are going to love it. As in the bedroom, they're spreading the arrow of Apollo. This is what's being conveyed. The second deeper meaning is a non-physical meaning. It's not the attacks against infrastructure and knifings and all that. No, almost everything in eschatology has two meanings. The deeper meaning here is that the damage done by the arrow from the pharmaceutical companies to the human family is now spreading as the human family knifes each other through sexual contact. That's what's being conveyed here. Remember, the arrow was a sexual fertility symbol. All right. The play on words concerning peace is a theme of the Olympiads. Every 4 years, the Greek states all maintained the Olympic peace. But just as in Pax Romana, this peace may have a double meaning. The peace of Rome was only for Roman citizens. The outlying countries and kingdoms suffered military control. Keep that into consideration. What the seals are conveying, guys, is exactly what you're now seeing in American politics. And by extension, the whole world. I'm telling you now, as I told you 4 years ago in predictions videos, 4-year-old prediction videos, I told you that a time is coming very soon where our economy in the United States is going to take empire status, and it's going to be almost overnight, and we're going to revive the economy. It's going to shock the world, and we're going to be a superpower again. Every bit of that is in my old predictions videos. And I even named Trump in those videos. The only fault that I have is that my videos, my predictions videos, were released too soon, because there was still 4 years away into the future before any of these things. So I took a lot of slack from a lot of people because nothing ever happened. We had 4 years of Biden. So, but those predictions videos nailed it. Trump was going to be involved in a complete resurrection of the United States in power, and a super economy is on the horizon. This is also what's being conveyed in the unfolding of this.
I'm sorry. Okay.
The principle here is that people in power lie. Now, think about this. The governing body flat out said that's theocratic warfare, right? Says, well, those lies are okay, basically. Number one. Number two, the U.S. government, all governments, have to work secretly. They have to say one thing but then do another. Because if they are honest about what they're doing, somebody's going to get in the way of that and subvert them. Well, they're not going to let that happen, so they're going to put out false information, even mostly to us, because they don't want us getting in the way of it either. Because see, we might object to what they're doing, and we might put up a stink, and we might not vote for them, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So they've got to tell us what we'd like to hear. That seems reasonable, doesn't it? So they lie. So what about religion? Does religion tell the truth too? I know there's the scripture that says God can't lie. Okay, well, men can lie. I don't know about God. Frankly, suit yourself, but God never spoke to me. I mean, I'm not going to say, oh, God spoke to me. No, I can't say that. I read a book that is termed as God's Word.
Can you tell us what that guy's name is? Beverly Howard wanted to know.
The channel is Archaix, Archaix. Archaix. That's the channel. He is Jason Breshears, Breshears. But Archaix is where you find it.
And Jane Spitfire says, easier to lie to keep citizens controlled.
Oh my goodness, that's just common knowledge. Bumper sticker, don't lie. The government does not like competition. You're funny, huh? It's real. It's real. So the point is, we have to weigh everything that we hear with the fact that we need to learn what's true about what they're saying. They're saying something, but we're going to have to wait and see what they really mean. We're going to have to keep listening. And see, and this is where many people just kind of leave off because they don't have the patience to continue with the stories, because they're stories. Oh, they are stories. And it takes a lot of effort to analyze all the different information. But what generally happens is people get a little bit anxious and they want to take a side. Wow, man, I like what he says. Because, and then they'll come up with a justification because of whatever, and they say, that's why I like what he says, and so I back him. Okay, humans like to do that. It makes it simpler for them, because then you don't have to keep thinking anymore. You just rely on that person. So that's what religion is all about. You know, someone says, I believe in God, but I don't know exactly about God. I mean, I can't write a book about God. It's like, oh, there's been a book written about God. Oh, good. I'll read the book about God, number one. In fact, I can't understand it. Oh, these people, this religion, they can teach me about God. Oh, good. Boy, that makes my life simpler. Mm-hmm. Now we'll just rely on them. We'll just be dependent on the people that can explain God. And they want that. That's what they like. They say, great. We were hoping you would. So now we, or whoever does, becomes dependent on those people. And what they say is, listen, obey, and make them rich. And that's what people do. And when you do that, the person does that, they make themselves a slave to whoever they obey. Mm-hmm. And this is where the separation comes in. Mm-hmm. Maybe you didn't like being a slave. Maybe that's why you're here. I know that's why I'm here. I don't like being a slave.
Me neither.
I don't like being a slave. I don't. And this baloney about being slave of the Most High, or whatever they said, well, it's all very nice, but doesn't work out very good when you get abused by the master, whoever the master is. I'm not talking about God. I'm talking about the men masters who put themselves in a position. Okay, we know that. You've all been through at least one religion. We've been through two. I'm not about to go through three. I don't need to. I've learned what religion is all about. I've learned the truth about religion. The truth about religion is that it's government's arrangement to control men through a belief system that they administer.
Can we bring Carol in?
Yeah.
Okay.
Someone would like to come on?
Yep, Carol?
Hi, you two.
Hi,
Hello,
Carol.
It's been a long time.
I know.
Great.
Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, I thought the theme was really good because truth, false, much of it is subjective.
Yeah.
I've come to the point where anything that's considered orthodox, and it doesn't matter the genre, whether it be religious, political, or whatever, if the vast majority and the powers that be say you believe it because it's just naturally accepted by everybody, that's when you really need to question.
I know. It's
There's
so
a
true.
reason why they need you to believe it.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
Control.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, but Carol, how about you? Are you truthful?
Yeah. That
Okay.
doesn't mean I can't slide some not complete truth in there. I mean, we're human.
Right.
But yeah,
right.
generally, overall, yeah.
And how about you? Would you want to relate to someone who's truthful?
Oh, absolutely.
Of course. So that's our truth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, You know, the truth is what we live, what you live.
Yeah.
Well, hey, but what if, now this is where the problem comes in, like with the organization. There's a lot of people in that organization that are called PMOs. Now, we love them, but they don't like what they're in because maybe they don't believe that it's the truth. But yet, they're presenting themselves as truthful. See, that's the snare. That's the snare. They came for truth, but now they're not being genuine. I mean, I still love them, but see, they're in a position where they're trying to keep from losing by not admitting what's real.
Yeah.
I understand that. I do understand that. But this is the snare. This is the
Well,
snare.
and it all boils down to the one big snare that we all can succumb to at one point or other, because we each have our own fear.
That's right.
Fear. Fear is the enemy. Fear is actually the opposite of love. Hate isn't the opposite of love. Fear will make a good person do horrible things.
But shouldn't I be afraid of losing? Look, should I have been afraid of losing my family, our family?
It's natural to feel that fear. But if you quote unquote lose them, you never had them.
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'll couple in with that. PMOs, when we were PMO for the year we were in. Our goal was to seek connection, to retain connection with our family, our children, in light of the fact that we did not believe the lies anymore. At that point, we realized it's not going to work. They still want that that information. They didn't want connection with us at that point.
Right.
And we realized that we were looking for love from someone who wasn't interested in it from us, like you said.
Yeah.
And I'm afraid that's what PMOs are doing now too. They're loving people who won't love them in return.
Exactly.
I mean, it's a hard thing to say. And this isn't accusatory.
It's a hard place to be. I can't even imagine.
Terrible. It's terrible. But there's something that throws that aside. And that's the love. It has to be love for something else. It has to be a love. And in our case, I'll say it was a love for truth, because it's like, I don't want to be a liar.
We couldn't live that way.
I'd have to present.
We couldn't do it.
Yeah, we'd have to be liars to our family. It's like, hey, I'm your father. I'm a liar now. What?
But they saw right through it. They right away. They saw right through it.
And I didn't want to live that.
No, and we weren't going to pretend. So we said, okay, we'll just say the way it is, and take the consequences.
And that was no easy.
No, it was not easy.
I mean, I go to bed and wake up in the morning with the same loss, fear, anxiety, but again, what do you want to be a liar, or do you want to live the truth? That's the truth.
Can we say hello to Dinah, Lost, Lisa?
Stay there, Carol. Stay there.
Hi.
Hello,
Hi, Dinah, Lost, Lisa.
I just want to come on because it's just been the topics that you guys have been talking about. I just had a really long conversation with a coworker about like a lot of this, the government and the religions, and how they're intertwined. And we talked about separation of church and state, and I'm like, but they're not separated. And I'm like, you can't have that as an argument, but it not actually be a reality. Because if it's not church and state over here, it shouldn't be church and state over here. And it's not equal. And then we got into, politics and about the deportation and whatnot. I said, I mean, I get the anger and I get the frustration and the fear of, them taking your jobs and being criminals and whatnot. And I'm like, but we we have plenty of criminals of our own and we don't take care of them. And we've got plenty of kids of our own that we don't take care. We've got kids in cages because their parents are getting sent out of the country. I said, this is not victimless. And it's just because of jealousy, because they get, things that they shouldn't be getting, because they get funds and I work hard and they have to, they just get whatever. And I'm like, yeah, but what really are you losing? Like, if this happens, if everybody gets deported and that solves all your problems, are you gonna get a tax break? Do you really think and feel that you're gonna get a tax break from all this? Like, stop and think and watch at what actually happens. They rile you all up.
Mm-hmm.
And then what happens? Inflation still happens. Things keep rising. They always do. Maybe it goes down a little bit because you have to give the public hope. You have to give them something to say, oh, will it get better? And then it gets a little bit better. People feel happy. And then it goes 5 times higher. And then it gets a little bit better and people get happy. And then it goes 5 times higher. And if you look at history, it's been doing that from the start.
Yeah.
And it's a constant cycle. They'll just keep making money more valuable. They'll just keep upping how much things are. We're going to have a loaf of bread for $500 because it's meaningless at that point. And I think with religion and when we grow up, it's not just about the fear. It's not just about that we are afraid of losing our family members. It's about that fear is instilled into us. Like, if we're never actually told all this scary stuff and saying, oh, if you don't do this, this, and this will happen, and you just guide people on how to live, you're not going to have this fear to be anxious over that you have to do this, that, or the other. You just figure out, oh, I need this, my tummy hurts. I need to eat food, like normal stuff. We don't take care of our bodies. Like, we're all cogs in their machine.
They want us in fear, like you said.
Yeah, of course.
They want, well, that's a choice.
Mm-hmm.
See, that's a choice.
That's right.
We could choose not to be afraid.
Yep.
Says,
Yeah.
I know what you're saying, government, religion,
Mhm.
but I'm not going to be afraid of it.
Yeah.
In other words, I don't acknowledge what you say. It doesn't work. It's not going to work for me. Well, see, if that's the case, then you take the power away from them. Because they want to, they're nothing if we don't listen to them. If we don't listen to them, they have no power.
Mm-hmm.
They have no power if we don't. Now, of course, yeah, they're going to tax. They're going to do all these other things. We're going to be affected by that, absolutely. But we're talking about the emotion, our strength, our spirit. They don't have to steal that from us. We don't have to give that to them.
That's right.
We don't have to give that to them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what they want most, because that's what they're afraid of, is our self-awareness and our power.
Oh boy.
100% knowledge and self-awareness. They're afraid of it.
And they're sensitive to that. They pick up through social media. They keep tabs on us and our reactions through social media.
That's why they try to stir the pot all the time.
Oh, that's right. That's right. We're being groomed. We're being groomed.
Yeah.
We're being groomed for being slaves. And they're realizing not everybody wants to be slaves. But here's the other side of it. Some people do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some people do. They say, look, I'm comfortable being a slave.
And that's
I will
right.
obey the master. I will. I'm looking for a good master. They're going to be a good master for me. I know it. I know it in my heart. Well, that separates people. And you can't, it's unavoidable. There are people, our family, there's 6 of us in our whole family. Are we all the same? No, absolutely not. Can we go forward united? I don't think so. We're individuals. People are individuals. And they know that, the government knows that, religion knows that, and they know how to sift and divide. They do, and they did that. The Watchtower did that. They're doing it still. They're pulling out the slaves. We're leaving as ones not wanting to be. What will we do? What will we do?
Are we ready for another video?
I don't know.
We're going to
Well,
keep it going.
Does
but
anybody want to say anything
yeah,
else?
you want to
before
say
I'll
anything?
stop?
Yeah.
Oh no,
Okay.
okay, go ahead.
We'll give it another video.
All right,
There'll be more.
The name of this one is called America Will Own Gaza with
Yeah.
a question mark.
This isn't political.
Okay, well, Trump has said that America is going to take over the Gaza Strip and expel all the Palestinians. So I guess that's that, right? America is going to own Gaza, and everyone's having a panic attack. And I'm asking, why do you think that you still live in a world where America can unilaterally decide what happens in the world? Because this is essentially what your problem is. Never mind whether Trump is serious or not about what he's saying. Never mind about that. I'll talk about that in a minute. But why would anyone in 2025 think that it matters even slightly whether he is serious or not? The world is not America-centric anymore. I mean, truth be told, Trump himself is not America-centric. I mean, think about it. America occupied Afghanistan for 20 years to destroy the Taliban. Taliban is the government right now, and America left. America said that they wanted to topple Bashar al-Assad all the way back in 2011, and it didn't happen until just a couple of months ago. And it was accomplished by Turkey, by Iran, and by Russia. And in fact, the government that they have today in Syria is from a group of people whom the Americans designated as terrorists. And then they had to rescind that. You know, America can't even get Russia out of the Ukraine. They tried to get Maduro out of Venezuela and they failed. Now they're doing deals with him. They failed in Bolivia. They failed in Georgia. They failed in Kazakhstan. They failed in Hungary, barely holding on in Moldova. They failed in Niger. They failed in Burkina Faso. They failed in Mali. They failed in Ethiopia. They failed in Guinea. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's been a very long time since America could just say to anyone, this is how things are going to be. So I don't know why anyone acts like America is the CEO of planet Earth. I mean, the truth of the matter is that the illusion of American supremacy has always been a function of relative power, not absolute power. The US was never invincible. It was just unchallenged after the Cold War. The Soviet Union was America's only real global competitor at that time. But even then, they weren't equal, really, in terms of economic output, technological innovation, global reach, and so on. But yet they were still enough to keep America from being globally supreme. I mean, the USSR was militarily formidable, but it was an economic and administrative disaster. Their collapse was self-inflicted. It wasn't the consequence of American power. The Soviet collapse was caused by inefficient central planning. It was caused by bad policy, overextension of military spending to try to keep up with the US and their military spending, internal corruption, stagnation, failed economic reforms like perestroika. That system died. It wasn't killed. The US didn't defeat the Soviet Union. They just outlived it. That's not the same thing. The collapse of the USSR left the United States as the default superpower. It was the default superpower, not because America was all powerful, but because nobody else was left. And now that era is over. Even the new US Secretary of State, Rubio, himself has acknowledged that America being the unipolar global superpower was an anomaly of history. And that moment has now passed into history. The US only appeared unstoppable because no competitor existed until now. But now today, America has multiple competitors. China in terms of technology and economy and so on, Russia in terms of military, geopolitics and so forth, and then of course the global South, the entirety of the global South, BRICS, alliances against US hegemony. All of this is are competitors that America can't cope with. I mean, just look at Russia. In some ways, Russia today has even more influence than they had when they were part of the Soviet Union, when they ran the Soviet Union. I mean, it's a significantly smaller economy than the United States, but the strategic importance of that economy and the strategic importance of their economic relationships is still enough to frustrate America's dominance. So you see what I'm saying? I mean, when you really look at it objectively, America's narrative about themselves does not hold up to scrutiny. I mean, even if you look at objectively, World War II that they always brag about, it was the Soviets who ultimately defeated the Nazis, not America. 80% of Nazi casualties were inflicted by the Soviet Union, by Soviet troops. John Wayne didn't defeat Hitler. That's all Hollywood propaganda. The truth is that a great deal of the strength and a great deal of the power that everyone thinks that America has, it never really did have. That's a fact. And now that relative power, that relative strength is diminishing because it always relied on the absence of any other power existing. Well, now other powers exist. So you have to understand both that, first of all, America never was as powerful as you have been made to believe it was. And secondly, you have to understand that the power that they did have is in steep decline. And it's been shrinking for years now. That's the reality. And as I've talked about, the power structure in America knows this. They're fully aware. That's why we see them withdrawing. That's why they're self-isolating. It's not by choice, it's by necessity. They have to, because not only does America not enjoy global supremacy, they're not even competitive anymore. They don't have the coercive power that they had when there was no one else on the block. Really, there are only two main reasons why we ever thought that America was so powerful. First, like I said, is because after the collapse of the Soviet Union, there simply wasn't anyone else. So in the absence of another power, they looked very powerful. And the second reason is because their use of their power was always so malicious and so brutal. So their viciousness amplified their power in our minds. But there's a difference between being powerful and being dangerous. America was just dangerous, but they weren't that powerful. America was always bloody, but they were never brave. And so now with the rise of China, with the rise of BRICS and so on, with the rise of increasing regional autonomy, say, America is retreating because it has to. I mean, you should really stop. America should stop posturing about China. It's ridiculous about rivalry and conflict with China, or what have you, what you will or what you won't do about Taiwan. It's just absurd. You're not going to get into an armed conflict with China, and everyone knows it. You won't even fight Russia yourselves. You'll just let the entirety of Ukraine commit national suicide on your behalf. I mean, China wouldn't even have to fight your military. They could just decide one day that you don't get access to their rare earths anymore, and they'll neutralize you overnight. Let's be serious. Even your uniforms, your military uniforms are made in China. So the point is, America isn't what it used to be, and even what it used to be wasn't what you thought it was. So when Trump says this or Trump...
Well, that was another snippet.
Another point of view.
Yeah. Any thoughts?
Oh, so many.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's just that's kind of exactly how I perceive it. Like it's just a game.
Well,
and if you get involved in the game, that's the process.
Let me
If
just
you don't
ask
rely on trade and you become self-sufficient, do you need to worry about what everybody else is doing? If they cut you off, if you're not reliant on them, let them cut you off.
Well, it's easy to say, but yet, I mean, people are social. You know, they live in the neighborhood. They say, I'm totally independent. I don't need anyone else. And then you run into trouble and you say, hey, neighbor, I got a problem. It's like, well, who are you? Well, so we want relations with our neighbors. Countries want relations with their neighbors. Now, I'm certainly not one to tell them how they should relate, It's not up to me. It's not my business. It's easy to listen to one person because you can just focus in on one person or one side. It's easy. And then you can say, that's what I put. That's the side I stand on. Boom. I don't have to think anymore. Or you can say, well, I think we need to hear what he has to say. I think we need to hear what someone else has to say. I think we need to keep listening. I think there's more we need to hear. Let's not stop listening. Because when you start judging is when you usually run into problems.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot to hear. There's a lot to hear.
Well, that's why I was telling, my coworker, I said that I couldn't be on a jury because I'm always diving into both sides. I'm always seeing things from both sides. Like, I'm not a one perspective type of person.
Yep.
If somebody tells me to look at something and ask me what shape it is, I want to know if I can look at it from the top, from the bottom, underneath.
Yeah.
How about from that side? Like, give me more information.
Yeah. No, some people don't make it on juries. In fact, they exclude them if they feel that they're not able to.
It forces you to make a black or white choice.
Well, I mean, I've never been on a jury, but usually they define it within parameters. And so, I don't know. I'm not sticking up for them. I'm just saying that I've never been on a jury. Never been on a jury.
The guilty or not guilty, especially when
well, they usually say
you're only allowed to make that decision based on the information that they provide you. There's even information that you're not allowed to be provided because of red tape. So no, I can't make a guilty or not guilty verdict because I know for sure I'm not getting everything that I could possibly get to make that choice.
And that's so true. See, if we think we know what's really going on, we've got rocks in our heads. They tell us what they want us to hear.
Mm-hmm.
And they know how to play us because they know everybody's got something different that they want to hear.
Exactly.
So they set up all their different flavors of ice cream to feed us. And we all say, well, this ice cream is where it's at. No, this one is where. And you fight about the different flavors of ice cream. They know us too well.
I know it's true to me, and I know what rings true to me.
Yeah.
Anything else, I will be open enough to listen to investigate. My beliefs are always evolving. I don't have a set belief because once you've arrived, there's no more growth. Never grow again. And I have a lot of people that have helped me in my journey in the last couple of years. And one gentleman, and I'm going to name him, his name is Gordon Smith Duran. He is also an ExJW, although his content on his YouTube channel, which is Peaceful Rebellion, is very not JW usually. But in any event, he said, we all have beliefs. That's a part of being human. Nothing wrong with having beliefs, just don't believe you're right.
That's right.
Because tomorrow you may realize, in fact, you were not right.
Oops. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, so this is where religion comes in. Or government, but they're about the same. It's just but religion says, here are your beliefs. These are my beliefs. Oh, well now, this other person has these different beliefs. Well, wait a minute. My beliefs are right. If I had his, that would be wrong. His beliefs aren't right. Well, so now, how many different beliefs are there? A lot. Well, the government loves that because then they can put one person against the other person as an enemy. And they've done that forever. And that's the only way they get people to kill each other in wars. They've got different sets of beliefs. You need religion in order to have warfare. You need religion in order to have warfare. Gotta have different religions. It works. It's worked.
Annie's on. Hi, Annie.
Hi, Joe. Hi, Fran.
Hello.
Interesting topic, pretty deep, but
Well, look, we're in it, and people
We're
are
in it
getting
deep.
stressed. People are getting stressed out about it lately too, because they know how to push buttons. Oh boy, they know how to push buttons, and they're pushing buttons a lot lately.
I'm a little more concerned about why there's so many people sick.
Huh?
That's a good question.
You should be. we should be concerned, but we shouldn't be surprised.
I'm not surprised. I would just.
No.
I know
no,
there's knowledge out there that I don't know, and it bothers me.
Well, don't stop researching, Dinah.
Oh, I'm diving.
Oh, I know.
Well, I mean, look, this is the. I don't know. Well, I don't personally. I don't know of any other time in history when there was so much knowledge available to so many, so quickly, so easily. And it started, I guess, it hit us in 2020 with the internet when we were finally allowed to do some research and realize, oh my goodness, these guys are lying to us.
And
oh my goodness, these guys are criminals.
And before that, we were checking out other conspiracy theories, and we would mention these to our children or the friends, and they said, no, don't. It wasn't even about anything about Jehovah's Witnesses. It was about some other things. So we found out real quick, who was open-minded and who wasn't.
Well,
it's interesting. It's just interesting. We don't all have to agree.
No.
But we can discuss it, and Carol can give her views, and Dinah Loss can give her views, and Annie can give her views, and Joe and I, and
We're gonna
whoever.
learn.
We're going to learn from each other and say, hey, I didn't think about that before. Oh, that's interesting. So we keep an open mind.
I have to be very cautious of who I speak to about my true opinions.
Yeah.
Because I've noticed that I don't know. If they're not on the same wavelength, it's not going to happen. And then it just causes division. And I'm like, I'm not about that. Like, let's go somewhere else. Different topic.
I have found it beneficial as I've gotten older to just pretty much keep my opinions to myself, because they are just my opinions. They're based on what I've learned, but I don't share. I'm very, very selective to whom I talk to about important things in life for that reason. I did want to comment on that last video about the condition of this country. I'm not real political, but I have been listening to, I think it's Richard Wolff is his name. And he's been talking about how what we are witnessing is a decline of an empire.
The economist Richard Wolff, right?
Yes. And what he says makes a lot of sense, because all empires come into existence, they rise to the pinnacle, and they gradually collapse, and that's what we're witnessing.
Reality. We're living through. We're living through that. Now,
yes,
look,
we are.
Most of us here are of the baby boomers. At least
we are.
4 of us.
Yeah, I am.
He is.
5. No.
Yeah,
2,
Carol?
3, 4, 5.
I don't
6.
know. I don't think I'm a boomer. I'm just shy. I'm 57.
Okay. Well, okay.
You're getting there.
I'm getting.
The point is, we saw the skyrocket go up. We saw after the war. Now we can have peace and prosperity, and everything just. It's like, my goodness.
Wait, are you talking about the moon? When
No.
I thought maybe you were talking about rockets.
Not at all.
Oh, yeah, the
economy. Look, when I was young, I noticed that, you could buy a house at $5,000. In a few years, you can sell it for 10. Wow, that's going to be great. And you can't do that now, can you? I mean, maybe some can, but it's not that way anymore. It's just, you can't even buy a house now.
No.
Let alone make any money off it. You have to be some kind of a thief to be able to steal them off of people who can't afford them anymore. And then whatever. It's just, so we're seeing the decline. But interesting, Jason's point of view. He said this country's going to, the economy's going to go up. Interesting.
Well, that's interesting. I'll wait and see if what happens.
Exactly. I'm the wait and see person too.
Well, look, Jason is what's called a chronologist. He studies patterns of timing of history. In other words, he's a nerd. He puts the time to situations, and he sees that history not only repeats itself, but it actually repeats itself precisely, which is really interesting. And it's done that again and again and again, and that's what he wants. And he's seen that because he chronicled it, and he said, I'm not predicting anything. I'm just discerning it from this repetitive pattern. And he's really interesting.
And that's the thing, things do cycle and they do repeat. It's a vicious circle.
Everything's a cycle. Everything.
Exactly. And that's why I don't worry about it. Things, get all stirred up and people get angry and prices go up, this happens, that happens, the bad things or whatever. It's part of the cycle. It's part of the experience. And my attitude is it will always at some point in time get better, and then it'll decline again. So my mantra is I can't do anything about all of that. That's just going to happen. If I want to see better situations in my world, because it's very small. I mean, we each have our own small little part. Be the change.
That's right.
Be the change. That's all we can individually do.
Sure. Look. See my hands, my arms. I can reach out certain far. I can't reach out past my arm's reach, and if I try, it's just not going to go. Well, each of us has an arm's reach for our world.
Yep.
You can reach out a certain distance in your world, and you know what? It works. You're effective in your world. I am. Everyone else here. But it's when they distract you. See, they're distracting you from your world. Say, worry about the big world. No, you can't. You can't do a thing about it. And you end up avoiding your world. That's the distraction. That they don't want people to focus on their world.
Yeah, I agree with you, Joe. I think we really do need to focus on our little world. I remember commenting in Watchtower lesson about that very thing. I always made unusual comments. And I said, we really live in two worlds. We live in our little world that day by day that we function in, our homes, our families, our jobs. And then we live in the big world. And that big world does affect us and impact our lives. And then I said, and everybody wants to rule the world. And it went along with the Watchtower lesson. And I said, and sometimes that world that they want to rule is their little world. And so I don't remember what the Watchtower was about, but it had to do with the family unit, and maybe it had to do with husbands had a household. I don't know for sure, but anyways, but yes, we do live in two worlds, two separate worlds, and our close little world is the only one we really have a great impact on. So.
Well, and we're powerful in that, and we feel good when we do. But here's the trap. They say one of the highest achievements spiritually is what's called neutrality. In other words, I'm neutral. Someone comes to you and says, there's this issue, and what do you think about that? What side are you on?
Neutral.
It's like, wait a minute. I'm neutral on that. I'm not going to take a side. It's not mine. I'm not there for that. See, that's what they want. They want to kick you off of your strength. And they want you to get all upset about something you can't do anything about. But then they're going to say, you've got your vote, or we've got this political action, or we got to do this, or we can work for this, or we can work for that. It's like, well, I guess you can, but you're going to be distracted from your world. And then what? And then what?
Can we say hello to Pasta Dude? He's been patiently waiting.
Where is he?
Hi,
He's right.
Pasta Dude.
Oh, hi, I don't have my glasses on.
Hey, howdy, howdy.
There you are. Okay.
One thing I've learned is, hey, yeah, great subject. I don't know if you guys brought in the concept of Hegelian dialectic.
Oh, that's a good one.
So, yeah, because look at the leverage now that. Go ahead.
No, you.
Oh, yeah, all right. So look at the leverage now, and for really apparently good reasons, the flow is with Trump. Now, that was a setup. You know, if you agree with 85, and I kind of, all these policies he's doing make sense. It's called common sense. 85, 90%. Now, some out there listening may disagree, and that's great. You know, don't worry about it. My point is, people aren't ready for the other 10, 15%. And with all that, what's called political capital. Now, how did that happen? Because they gave you two choices. And there's so much more to consider, you know, but that's how it funneled in. So here you are. I mean, every political and religious thing usually gets grouped into, even the witnesses. It's us and them. Don't be on the fence. White and black. That's parsing everything. And look at how much more there is to go. You know, even the Bible and who is God and everything is really not really resolved in a very evidentiary way. So it's a great subject. I mean, people need to be, you know, it's like that serenity prayer. Grant me the patience to deal with what I can't control. Yeah, grant me the effort and the strength to do what I can about that which I do control. That's your little circle. And then the wisdom to know the difference. If you engage somebody in politics or religion, well, after all, witnesses don't even expect to convert somebody in a 1 or 2 visits. I mean, okay. So in politics, particularly, nobody has the time. It takes hours of discussion and sincerity to get down to it. And they take advantage of that because they can continue to divide into 2 parts.
That's right.
Who's for us, who's for them. So it's a great subject, and it's a good thing to understand because you can get much more contentment when you realize what you can't fix. And they've taken advantage of this. The controllers know exactly what they can do to the populace. And it's the populaces of all nations that are passively inclined to say, well, we can't do anything about it, so we'll just see what happens. And that works for them, the power structure.
Dude,
Go ahead,
you talk about power, and it was described once as if we're all batteries, and we all have power for our, for our mechanism, for our life. Well, somebody comes along and said, the tyrant comes along and says, I want a lot of power for my empire. But I don't have it alone. There are a lot of little batteries out there. I got to figure out how to steal power from all those little batteries out there. I think I know how to do it. And these guys in religion and the psychologists, psychopaths, they're gonna help me do it because they know these people better than they know themselves. And it's it's so important that we know ourselves. We guard our power. We're like little kings. You see, kings have to guard their realm. Well, we do too. We do too. We have our sovereignty. We have to guard our sovereignty. Otherwise, they steal it from us. I think it's great to learn about politics. I really do. It's interesting because it's human nature. It's strategy. It's intrigue, drama. It's all those nasty things,
And they have college, Joe. They have college degrees in political science. In other words, it's like winning in court. That truth doesn't matter.
Yeah. It's persuasion does, huh? Oh,
There
dear.
was a show on Netflix that I got hooked up on, and if anybody, it's got a lot of episodes and seasons, but it was really riveting. It was called Suits, and it was about
Yeah.
lawyers. Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
great show, man.
Oh,
Harvey Specter, the key lawyer in that thing, and just like he always won, but it was all dastardly, man. It was all like, how do we, get leverage and make them cave? It was amazing. It had nothing to do with. So yeah, that's what we're gonna.
But let me ask you this: is that the way you roll, Pasta Dude?
Hey, somebody brought up earlier because I was listening about growth nonstop. And the way I roll is I'm just being the keenest observer I can be. And I do live by this thing, the more you know you don't know. And that happens because the real truth is obscured. So knowing that you don't know is a higher place. I mean,
It's a higher place and it gives you peace. It's a burden to have the truth, to have all the answers. You got to constantly defend it. Well, if you're flexible and open-minded and you don't know, there's peace with that.
You know what I've noticed about this thing of having the truth? There's no humility with it.
True.
I know.
There's no humility.
As you ponder things,
the most proud organization in the world. It's like, holy smokes! It's like, can't you be a little humble?
I want to tell you guys a quick story, and then I want to hop off. Well, it's I guess a story of me. So when I exited or stopped going to the Kingdom Hall for all reasons I've talked about, but I found my husband's family, and they were very political. So it was jumping from one thing and then observing something that I had not ever been exposed to. So it was basically jumping from one world into a completely different world. And they were like, "Are you going to vote now?" And I'm like, "No." "Well, why not?" "Well, because I don't understand it." And they would, try to tell me different things of why I should vote and this, that. I'm like, but can I do anything about that though? I mean, if this guy wins, he's going to do whatever. Can I do anything about it? If that guy wins and they do whatever, can I do anything about it? Like, what difference does it make? Just so I can feel important for one day and say that, I tried to do something. Like, to me, it just felt like, why don't we just go out and do something? Like, why are we always looking for someone else to do something for us?
Dinah,
yes, definitely.
Can I add some words to what you said? Why
Sure.
don't we do something in our world?
Yeah.
In our little world where we can do something.
100%.
Yeah.
So I was for years, I was constantly told that I was ridiculous because, I was still a Jehovah's Witness. It was just my Jehovah's Witness mentality, and it would just get belittled. And I would just, I boxed myself into this because I didn't belong in any world, because I went from one world that I didn't know was fake until 2 years ago into a completely different world that I didn't understand because it looked like a game to me. It didn't look real. I'm like, this, you go back and forth and back and forth. I said, I couldn't keep my eyes open in history. I mean, mostly because we got drilled to read about history as a Jehovah's Witness. So I was overwhelmed by the time I got to school history.
Yeah.
But I was like, what I did learn was that it just goes around and around. We read about it, we learn about it, and then we do it again.
And that's the history they taught you. That was government history.
Right.
That was that history was written after 1903, I think. They came up with it.
Yeah. And this is all knowledge that you were given and you had to learn this and couldn't even, you had to get permission to speak your entire childhood.
It was all indoctrination.
And one of the channels I follow, the guy calls it Slave School. And believe me, I mean, when you think about the history, I mean, they jack up history. There is so much invalid history taught in, you know, typical school or even college for that matter. It's just messed up.
They say there's none that are so enslaved as those that believe that they're not.
There you go. It's easy to fool somebody as opposed to telling them they've been fooled.
Yeah. And here, and I have to ask myself too. I really do. And this is where it gets even deeper. Why was I designed? Why was I designed the way I am designed, for the brain and the ability, the strength to do work, almost as if I'm a worker bee. I was designed to be a worker bee. Well, okay.
Yeah, it's both magnificent and mysterious.
Yeah.
You know?
Did y'all see my video, Joe and Fran? Did y'all watch
Not
the
yet.
song?
No, I.
Which?
It's
last
only a
one?
minute long. I wish I knew.
Whoa.
I'm not technical. I don't know how to share it.
It's a video.
Well,
Let me see if I can.
Is it the last one?
Yeah, this one I just did, and it talks about like all of this that we're talking about.
Okay,
Well, let's
look
all
it up.
check it out when we can.
It's only a minute long. It's not long.
Good. We'll check it.
Oops, Dino.
Yeah, I know how to share on the computer, but I don't know. Can you do it from the phone? I don't know how to do that. I'm not that smart.
What is your channel name again?
Dinah lost again.
Oh, Dinah lost again.
And again.
I know. How about Dinah lost more?
Yeah.
Yeah. New chapter.
Well, if you can't gain if
I
you
got
if
it.
you have a full cup, so
Is it trapped in a jar?
no.
Oh, all right. All right, and then go to videos and what's the name of that?
Tired of manipulation.
Videos.
Yeah, I'm on videos. These are videos right here. Okay, the
Channel.
latest is trapped in a jar,
It's
unsilenced.
a short. I'm sorry. It's a short.
Yeah, I was just going to suggest that in the shorts.
Okay.
Yeah,
this
because it's
one.
only a minute. It went to short.
Tired of manipulation.
Well,
Okay.
you just show it right here.
All right.
Just turn it on.
I'm gonna get the volume up here. Sorry.
Acres of dollar signs got us losing our mind. Control the land, but they don't understand. We're one of a kind. Promises spilled and pockets with thrill. Politicians smile while the hard working still. Everything's a hustle, just a piece of the puzzle in this rap system. Everyone's been muscled. Every pill, every track's trying to pay the man back. But the more I give, the more they hold inside. Stop. We're just numbers in their game, never feeling the same. Fading in and statistic. All these lies you delay. Shackled to a dream. A big machine scheme in a world that's cold. Can't redeem. Healthcare's a joke. Money pools on the road. While the boys that scream, watch the rich folks flow. Every corner I turn, see the grief that's a girl. While they play with our lives, we collapse and we learn. Tired of manipulation, fed up with frustration. Every bill, every fee, part of their creation. Feeling invisible, trapped in the abyss. In the cycle of hate, may remind me what we missed.
That's fabulous.
Good job.
No, I didn't use my
Fabulous.
voice. I used somebody else's voice. So that's
But that's all your
yeah, because
lyrics.
I get to because I did another song and I just get too judgmental about myself. So
Fabulous.
I
See,
decided, in the interest of getting the song out, to just use a voice.
See, you're describing a person who's trying to play a game that's way too big for them.
Yeah.
It's not their game.
Right.
It's the game they want you to be in, to be used.
This gets into our next.
It's not our
video.
game. It's not our game.
All right,
There's
guys, I'm going to jump off here.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dinah. Love
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Night, y'all.
There's
Night, John.
there's a saying that says, "Homie, don't play that game." In other words, and I'm not going to go along with it. I'm not going to go along with it.
Okay, this gets into our next video, if you're ready for it. This is Mel Gibson, and we've watched this philosophical essence. We kind of show him every week because he's got so much. We're going to watch the first 10 minutes, but see how this relates to the Watchtower.
I had a whole bunch of weird paranoid suspicions about what the hell was going on because there was a lot of stuff I couldn't understand.
Right.
And nobody was really bothering to explain it to me.
They don't.
And then you find out later on the track that you are exactly on track
Mm-hmm.
with a lot of this stuff, that some of your worst nightmares were real at the time. And you think,
there's a reason you're watching this right now. You were meant to see this. Because what I'm about to reveal is so disturbing, so deeply buried, and so reality altering that most people will never know it even exists. Mel Gibson knew something that he wasn't supposed to know. Something about Hollywood. Something about power, identity, and the hidden forces that shape reality itself. And when he tried to speak out, they erased him. One of the biggest names in Hollywood vanished overnight. Why? Because he broke the rules. But now, the truth is coming out. And once you understand what Gibson discovered, you'll never see your own reality the same way again. Before The Passion of the Christ, Mel Gibson was untouchable. He was one of Hollywood's biggest stars, an A-lister with unlimited power. But after that movie, it was like he didn't exist. Suddenly, Hollywood turned against him. His career collapsed overnight. He was branded insane, controversial, and a danger to the industry. Scandal after scandal, as if it was designed to happen. But why? Because The Passion of the Christ wasn't just a film. It was a supernatural event. Something happened during the making of that movie that Hollywood wasn't ready for. Mel Gibson knew it was coming. That's why, before filming even started, he pulled Jim Caviezel aside and gave him a chilling warning. If you take this role, you'll never work in this town again. And he was right. Because what happened next defied logic, shattered reality, and exposed the most forbidden secret of all. Think about it. Hollywood actors take on controversial roles all the time. They play criminals, murderers, even Satan himself, yet their careers don't end. But Mel Gibson looked Jim Caviezel in the eye and said, if you take this role, you'll never work in this town again. Not you might struggle, not it'll be tough, but you will be erased. Why? Because this wasn't just a movie. It was a test, a spiritual event disguised as a Hollywood production. And what happened next proved it. The moment Jim Caviezel stepped into the role of Christ, reality itself started breaking apart. The warnings weren't symbolic, they were real. Because while filming, Caviezel was struck by lightning. Not once, twice. The chances of that happening? Astronomical. His shoulder dislocated carrying the cross. He suffered hypothermia during the crucifixion scene. His heart literally stopped beating. And that's not even the worst part. The actor playing Judas almost died in a freak accident. Crew members began collapsing on set. People started hearing voices, feeling a presence, something beyond human. It wasn't just bad luck. It wasn't just a coincidence. It was something else. And Mel Gibson, he knew it was going to happen. Because when you step into a role so deeply embedded into human consciousness, you aren't just acting. You become something else. And that's when reality starts shifting around you. Because what they don't want you to know is that identity is reality. And here's where it gets even deeper. Because this isn't just about Mel Gibson or Jim Caviezel. This is about you. Most people think reality is just cause and effect. You wake up, go to work, get paid, live your life. But what if I told you that's a lie? What if I told you that your entire world is just a reflection of the identity you hold in your subconscious? Think about it. Before the Passion of the Christ, Jim Caviezel was a rising Hollywood star. His career was on fire. But the moment he took on the role of Christ, everything collapsed. Not because he suddenly became a bad actor. Not because Hollywood forgot about him. But because his identity shifted. He wasn't just Jim Caviezel anymore. He became Christ in the collective subconscious of millions. And once that happens, reality has to rearrange itself. Hollywood couldn't see him as a leading man anymore. They saw him as something else. His entire career trajectory erased. This is why Mel Gibson warned him. Because once your identity shifts, there's no going back. And this is exactly what happens in your life too. Every time you step into a new version of yourself, the world around you will start reacting, sometimes violently. Ever notice that when you start making money, some old friends suddenly distance themselves? Or when you stop playing the nice guy role, people start treating you differently? That's because your identity is your reality. And the moment you shift, your world has to change. But here's where it gets even crazier. Because this isn't just about you. This is by design. There are people, powerful people, who understand this far better than you do. And they've been using this secret to manipulate human consciousness for centuries. Because if identity is reality, who is controlling the identities we're allowed to step into? Because Mel Gibson wasn't just making a movie. He was activating something ancient, and Hollywood knew it. That's why he wasn't just criticized. He was exiled. But here's where it gets eerie. This isn't just some psychological trick. It's not just about thinking differently or believing in yourself. No, this is ancient knowledge that was buried, hidden, and deliberately erased from history. Every powerful civilization, from the Egyptians to the mystery schools of Greece, from the esoteric teachings of the East to the early mystics of Christianity, knew one thing. Reality bends to match the identity you embody. Not your thoughts, not your desires, not your hard work, your identity. Ancient texts called this the divine self, the higher I am, the God within. But here's the part that changes everything. They, of every era, have always known this, and they've made sure you never do. Because when you understand this, you stop being controlled. You stop playing by their rules. You stop waiting for permission, for validation, for someone else to tell you who you are. You decide. The reason Mel Gibson was exiled wasn't just because he made a controversial movie. It's because he was tapping into an identity shift so powerful it shakes the foundations of reality itself. And the system hates that. This is why the moment you start stepping into a new identity, reality tests you. Because the old system is designed to keep you locked in the version of yourself that is predictable, manageable, and most importantly, powerless. But here's where it gets insane. Because what happened to Gibson is not just about Hollywood. It's about you. It's about every person who's ever tried to break free. See, every human being operates under an identity blueprint. It's like an invisible script running in the background of your life, dictating what you believe, what you attract, and what reality allows you to experience. And here's the most important part. That script was not written by you. From the moment you were born, your identity has been programmed into you by your parents, your school, the media, the culture around you. You were given a role to play. And here's the shocker. If you don't consciously rewrite that script, you will live out the one you were given. You'll stay in the role they designed for you. And that role was never meant to make you powerful. This is why most people stay stuck. They try to change their lives, but they're operating from the same identity. The person who is broke, struggling, overlooked, that's just an identity. And as long as they believe that's who they are, their reality will reflect it. Because here's the real secret they don't want you to know. Your reality doesn't care what you want. It only responds to who you are. This is why Mel Gibson faced instant backlash the moment he stepped into a new identity. He wasn't playing by the rules anymore. He wasn't just an actor. He had taken on a symbol that reshaped human consciousness for thousands of years. And when you do that, when you step into a higher, more powerful identity, reality bends to match. But before it stabilizes, it will test you. This is the part where most people fail.
This is very similar to what Dina Elise Moore has put on her last few videos. Do you know? Can you hear me?
I can.
I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, they must have been having trouble on their end. But Dina Elise Moore, she's down in Ecuador and she does a lot of counseling. And her last few videos have been talking a lot about this, how we can rewrite ourselves.
Mhm.
And a lot of it through the neuro-linguistic programming that she practices herself, you know. Are you hear me yet?
I can hear you. Joe and
Yeah,
Fran
everyone
can't
else
seem
hearing.
to.
But
I don't know. They can't seem to.
no, they don't seem to hear me. No. But yeah, and I've noticed that in my circle. One friend in particular, I've noticed all of a sudden she's not really there a whole lot. And I think the changes I've been making are making her uncomfortable.
Mhm.
Because when we talk, I reach out to her. So, yeah. You, no, still don't hear you.
It's interesting because I don't have a lot of friends. I have a small circle.
Yeah, me
And
too.
and my experience in life is that throughout my life, I have reached out to people a whole lot more than
Yes.
they have reached out to me. It's like it's a one-sided relationship, one-sided friendship. So I've just gotten to the point now where, okay, I'm just not going to reach out to people who don't reach back
Right.
because I don't need that in my life. So my circle got smaller.
Yeah, mine's always been small, so I'm comfortable with that. I enjoy my own company. If I'm alone, I'm happy.
Yeah, yeah.
Are we back?
Yes,
Yeah,
you are. Oh,
yeah.
There
We
you
can hear
are.
you.
Whew.
Hey, that was a great video, though.
Well,
it was. It was really good.
Did you see the point that I picked up with that? And I'm going to relate it back to what we learned from the Bible. That Mel was presenting an identity for us, not an identity of Jesus, but an identity for us. And this is where I'm going to go back to the Bible, where Jesus said, the kingdom of God is within you.
Within you. Yep.
Oh, yeah.
In other words, we use Jesus as a model. He's the model of us, not we're the model. We are what he showed. We are our own saviors.
Well, we all have that divine spark. That's where the kingdom is, within us.
That's it. And
Every one
they
of us.
don't want us to use that divine spark. They don't want that. They don't want that. And that's why he was burned for that, because he was tapping into that. And that's why the society labels us as evil, because we're just tapping into what Jesus Christ showed that we are. They don't like that.
No, they don't. And you know what? Quite frankly, all of Christianity, I've discovered,
Yeah. Tell us.
they're just as indoctrinated and stuck on their dogma.
Yeah.
That, because I have been down some rabbit holes that were just shocking to me.
Yeah.
But so fascinating finding out who the Old Testament God was. Oh my gosh. Once you know, it's like, how did I miss that? Because it was right in your face.
How about this one? Christianity really was designed for empire.
Yes, it was a way to control the populace. Keep them docile and obedient.
So they took people off of their, and this is interesting, they took people away from their pagan life, which had a multiplicity of gods.
Yeah.
All these different gods had all these different personalities.
Yep.
Very different. Which basically we had the opportunity to identify with as we needed. In other words, it helped us to understand ourselves and to be ourselves, and to be what we are, by all these many different persons, which we could be. And it shifted it over to boom, one guy, one. None of these, it was easier to control. That was the only way they realized that they could have empire, controlling the masses, monotheism, as opposed to
Polytheism.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like you said, once you learn it, it's like, how's it feel to be used? You know?
Well, even Jesus distanced himself from the Old Testament God. In John, he made it very clear that they did not know his father, and that their father was the father of the lie, the devil. Jesus himself said it.
Yeah.
He never used any name for God. He always referred to him as his father.
Yeah.
Even though Jehovah's Witnesses like to think he did.
I've got to, I mean, I'm not, my beliefs, whatever they are, I don't believe in Jesus as my savior. I don't think he's my savior.
We don't need one.
But he shows me what I need to do to be my savior.
He was a revolutionary.
He showed it. He gave me all the, you see, it's almost as if he said, well, let's graduate. Let's put all these little gods aside with all the different little personalities, which you're really not going to go too far with. And let's focus it down to where you can now go forward somehow. You can go forward because you're focusing now. And I mean, in that respect, you know, he gave that model. I can respect that. I really can. I really can.
He was showing people where their power was and that they didn't need to be enslaved to that religious system or the political system.
Yeah. And governments don't like that. Oh, they don't like that.
No.
They don't like that. So are they going to do something about that? Maybe. Maybe they're going to do something. Just like Constantine did something about it back then. Maybe they're going to do something about it now to rearrange mankind's religion. I don't know. I don't care, but I don't know.
Yeah.
So interesting.
It's fascinating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So, yeah, I was going to say, for what it's worth, I've gotten a heck of a lot more aware of who I am since I woke up. I can say that.
You're allowed
So
now.
self-awareness is a very interesting thing, because I look back. First of all, you have the overwhelming story of how, because I was not raised in the religion, so I got. But when I look at it now, it's just really easy to see what happened. But then, what does that tell me about me? A lot of valuable lessons. So waking up is so. It's been highly enriching to me. I mean, it's still. That's why I say the growth thing is ongoing.
It is. Well, we're designed for that. We're designed for that. There is no, well, maybe there are limits for us, but I don't think we'll ever find them. I think we'll just keep looking, I guess.
I think wisdom is always learning, never reaching the epitome. There is no epitome.
To quote from a movie I like, quotation is, there are no answers, only the search.
Yes.
That's right.
Yeah, I like
We-
that.
Yeah.
We are searchers. We are. Otherwise, we wouldn't have such an inquisitive mind. You know, the way you know we're searchers is that the government tries really, really, really hard to narrow our thinking, because
And isn't
we
that
can
what
think way outside.
isn't that
We're
what
afraid of
keeps life interesting and keeps our mind continually expanding? Is that search? We can't possibly have all the answers. No one has all the answers. So, yeah, I think we are designed to always be searching.
Yeah, it's a journey.
Well, you got the 70 or years factor, which is a pretty quick run on millenniums of history.
Right.
You know, there's a lot, and you still have that element, which I believe is very telling, that our minds are capable of an ongoing intake of data. So something in history, something about our lifespan, perhaps the amount of toxicity that the elites are killing us with, might help us to live a lot longer. It's not helping us.
And they know that, and they
Yeah.
know that. That's why they put whatever they put in the foods that we eat. They put it in the air. They put it in the water.
Well,
in the water.
the aerosol's got aluminum in it. It's well known that aluminum is involved in Alzheimer's.
I think it's got more than that too, Pasta dude. I think it's got more.
Yeah,
It's just strontium. Oh,
Yeah,
whatever.
and fluoride is supposed to be what calcifies our third eye.
Right.
That's right.
Yeah.
So
Putting it in all the water.
Look, does it should it really surprise us when we realize, if you look at history, genocide was constantly being practiced. Constantly. Genocide through history. There was always a genocide or several genocides going. Constantly. And there is one right now. And there was one previously. And there will. They'll always do that.
and they happened, if you note, when there is an awakening.
Yeah.
The knowledge becomes, the hidden knowledge is starting to come out. That's when things have to be wiped out. You wonder about the Tower of Babel. You know, what was it that caused that Old Testament God allegedly to have, confused languages and separated everybody? They were coming together with this knowledge, and that was a danger, a threat to that demiurge.
It's unacceptable. Well, here, this is something that kind of hit me. That Genesis 3:15, which is supposedly the first prophecy in the Bible, he will bruise you in the head, and you'll bruise him in the heel. That, I shall put enmity. That's right. Now this is whoever it is speaking, the one in charge, power, saying, I will put enmity between them. Oh, he's got the power. Enmity is mutual hatred. So here is this powerful one saying, I'm going to make sure they mutually hate each other. That's like, holy smokes. Now, what God of love is that?
Well,
that's going to ensure that people mutually hate each other. It's
I
like
think
that.
in Isaiah, I don't remember where though. I think it might be, I don't remember. You'd have to look it up. But the capital Lord, Jehovah, Yahweh, whoever, says that he creates the light and he creates darkness.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then when you compare when David took the census and then God killed 70,000 innocent people.
Yeah.
Now, the New World Translation, they know darn well who this person was. And so they altered their translation in the one verse to say one, where it doesn't fit.
Yeah.
But in one verse, it's in 2 Samuel 24:1 and 1 Chronicles 21:1. One says Jehovah made David do this, and then the other one says Satan made David do it.
Probably one and the same.
And there you go. He told on himself.
No, that's it. You know, this is a wonderful time. But here's the challenge. Not everyone has a mind open enough to accept new information. And that separates people. It does.
It does. It's sad. The more opinions I hear, the more variety I hear, you know, little things I pick up that resonate with me is great. Other things, you know, it's good for them. They're on an entirely different journey than myself. So there's no way I can really criticize. It's their journey.
No, that's
There's
right.
nothing wrong with the journey.
No, that's right. That's right. It's just that you may not travel with them at that point. Maybe another point they'll come back. You don't know. We don't
Exactly.
know.
Exactly.
We got a little more of Jason's video. It's not too much.
Yeah. Okay, well, before you do that, I'm just going to have to get off of here because y'all know I get up at 4 in the morning.
I know,
I gotta get to bed.
Well,
Thanks for coming
just to
on.
let you know what it's about. It's about the reality of the Statue of Liberty, which is not.
Oh,
liberty.
fascinating.
So,
I'll have to watch this later.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Good night. Thank you for
All
coming
right.
on.
Good night, guys.
Love
Bye-bye.
you. Bye.
Love you too.
Night.
Cathedral to cathedral in cities that become popular from the news from major knifings. That that right there would be Apollo Macchiera. Yeah, man. Just wanted to show that to you before we go on because there is a deeper meaning. For those of you unaware, when we talk, I've got prior presentations for you new people where I show that the Statue of Liberty is Apollo. Some of those videos are like 2 years old. Maybe my moderators know what videos they are. I don't know. They can put them. But somewhere in the past, I've got videos that show all the similarities, showing the Statue of Liberty is male. It's not a female. This is Apollo on the left, Statue of Liberty on the right. This is Statue of Liberty. That's a guy. That is not a girl. Statue of Liberty. This is Apollo, an ancient statue of Apollo. It's no different. This is Apollo right here. That means the Statue of Liberty is also Apollo, Staten Island. United States is a kingdom of Apollo. It's the empire of Apollo. Very well hidden from us for a very long time. Okay, so there is a deeper meaning conveyed here as well. The second seal has a deep, just like the first seal had a double meaning, the second seal has a deeper meaning as well. The second horseman is the second phase of a plan initiated in the first. The knife is a stabbing weapon, just as is the arrow. Because the subject is human fertility, the symbolism conveys that the peace taken from the earth is the act of humans delivering the toxin to one another that aids in the going forth conquering and to conquer. Do you understand what's being conveyed here? Each horseman is fulfilling even more of the scheme and agenda of the horse preceding it. What started off as the pharmaceutical companies initiating something, now they're no longer needed. They can be burned. They can be prosecuted, imprisoned. This is what the kingdom of darkness has always done. When the snake slows off its skin, it appears as something else. So now it's time to burn all those like Fauci and everybody who was involved. They're going to get prosecuted. All kinds of things are going to happen to them, and the people are going to love it. As in the bedroom, they're spreading the arrow of Apollo. This is what's being conveyed. The second deeper meaning is a non-physical meaning. It's not the attacks against infrastructure and knifings and all that. No, almost everything in eschatology has two meanings. The deeper meaning here is that the damage done by the arrow from the pharmaceutical companies to the human family is now spreading as the human family knifes each other through sexual contact. That's what's being conveyed here. Remember, the arrow was a sexual fertility symbol. All right. The play on words concerning peace is a theme of the Olympiads. Every 4 years, the Greek states all maintained the Olympic peace. But just as in Pax Romana, this peace may have a double meaning. The peace of Rome was only for Roman citizens. The outlying countries and kingdoms suffered military control. Keep that into consideration. What the seals are conveying, guys, is exactly what you're now seeing in American politics. And by extension, the whole world. I'm telling you now, as I told you 4 years ago in predictions videos, 4-year-old prediction videos, I told you that a time is coming very soon where our economy in the United States is going to take empire status, and it's going to be almost overnight, and we're going to revive the economy. It's going to shock the world, and we're going to be a superpower again. Every bit of that is in my old predictions videos. And I even named Trump in those videos. The only fault that I have is that my predictions videos were released too soon, because there was still 4 years away into the future before any of these things. So I took a lot of slack from a lot of people because nothing ever happened. We had 4 years of Biden. So, but those predictions videos nailed it. Trump was going to be involved in a complete resurrection of the United States in power, and a super economy is on the horizon.
There, you have it.
A little more information. And again, what Jason does, can you hear us? Hello? Testing 1 1 1.
I can hear you.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Thank
can
you.
I just let folks know, if anyone new is here and they want to come in and join us, just go to the chat and go to the top of the chat and Fixing My Faith. Just tap on that HTTPS and it'll let you into StreamYard. Okay, thank you.
You'll be magically transported
Yes.
into this world.
What were you going to say?
Oh,
about Jason.
Oh, again, what Jason does, he's a nerd. He likes numbers. He reads more books than you can imagine, and then he relates all the books. And all the books that the only thing he researches is information before 1903. Oh, the ones before the
reset.
The reset came about, and they rewrote history.
The Phoenix was in 1902, so he doesn't read anything after that.
And through it all, and he goes way, way, way back with the books, he sees from the chronicling the timelines is that there's a cyclic repetition of types of events. It's a cycle. It's like a machine. It just cycles. It's not random. It's not a random development of things. And it's so interesting. And you see, that's the reason why they suppressed the information. That's why the reason they suppressed it in the Vatican, and they burned libraries, and they had book burnings. They didn't want people to know what was going to happen, or what was happening, that did happen, and then to get a handle on what was going to develop. But now we're at the point.
So Joe, let me ask you.
Yeah.
I don't want to just go ahead and wrap a little bit, but I got a question about what he just said earlier.
Yeah.
You want it?
Yeah.
Do you have a vibe on how what many people say is just a death, a spiraling economy with massive debt? Because I have some ideas, but do you have an idea how that can work? Because it's a little bit of sticking your neck out.
By magic.
Well, yeah, I mean, first of all, I think all the terror in the economy and currencies and everything else is all by design for the setup.
I'm being facetious when I say magic. What I mean is they present what they want to present. As soon as they want to present something else, they're gonna change it, and it's gonna like, wow, how did they cancel out all that debt? Well, it's because it's all BS to begin with.
Well, I remember I went to Canada and I exchanged some currency for their money, and it looked like monopoly. And then I thought to myself, I'll bet our money looks like monopoly to them. And guess they're both right. They're both right.
Look, you know what fiat is? Fiat money. The only reason that paper is worth anything is because they said so. That's fiat.
Right. That's exactly right.
I say so. King says, I say so. This is boom. Otherwise, it's paper. You probably can't even burn
it. And then, they enforce things called pyramid schemes, and yet the Federal Reserve, you can't get a more glaring pyramid scheme through the banking system. And they had to kill people in 1913 to get it open.
Yeah. If anyone believes that the way things are is because it's a sensible situation, they're crazy. It's not sensible. They make it what it seems. It's smoke and mirrors. They lie. And anytime they want, they can change it. Boom. They may have to kill a few people or buy off a few people or whatever. But as soon as the consortium of world leaders, agree on something, boom, that's what they do. And that's what's happening right now. There's a consortium of world leaders, whoever they are. And I don't think it's the ones we see either. The world leaders are not visible. The actors are visible.
There's a bunch of levels to it. Most of our if you're looking for answers, your focus would be on, oh my goodness, Elon Musk he gets government contracts and he has a conflict of interest. And at the same time, do you know how many district attorneys that are letting murderers and throwing you in jail for nonsense? They're put in place by a guy named George Soros. So you want to talk about oligarchs, and I agree with you. George Soros he's a face on it. There's bigger money behind him.
Oh yeah,
quadrillionaires. Quadrillionaires.
Think about it. If you had all the money in the world and the power to command things, You're not going to lift a finger. You're just going to make agreements with others like that and to make things happen. And money makes things happen. It's amazing how much work somebody's going to do to get rich. And they'll put out a lot of effort just to get some of that money. Here's the one problem with this. There's something called the tyrant. Now, tyrant is a Greek concept. It's a Greek word and it's a Greek concept. They say when people desire the riches of the king or the riches of whatever, when they desire riches, the tyrant shows up. They become they come under a tyrant now, all because they wanted riches. And so
it's like tyranny is always looming. It's always looming. It's there's no vacuum on tyranny. It's always coming. You know.
Yeah. And
so yeah, one of the videos
go ahead.
We chopped. Yeah, I saw this video, and I'm not a big fan of a certain doctor that is in a lot of hot water lately. And when he used to show up on the news conferences during the 2020 era, one of the first times he showed up, I saw a video today, and I might have sent it to you. He sticks his hand under his coat. That is so dark. I mean, the hidden hand is a long-standing signal to the secret societies. So he's an inside player, and he went to a Jesuit university. That's a known fact. He went to Holy Cross, and now he's got to play along with whatever the role he has. He hasn't put in jail yet, but yeah, all this stuff, and then that had to do with just talking about with the needle and the serpent and the toxicity. There's a doctor. Her name's Dr. Anna. She does a lot of videos, and she works with a lot of people in the Northwest. She says that if you have coffee with somebody who has a vaccine, you better check yourself out. You better check yourself out. Now, there's certain protocols that'll clean up those self-replicating cells, and so your body,
You mean if you're in close proximity with them?
That's what she said. She's actually run blood tests on it. Certainly, if your marriage mate gets one of the remedies, let's just call it that, and you're intimate, you because it's a shedding issue. They know they got this.
That's what Jason was saying. That's what he was saying. That they'll conquer and go conquer. That's people.
Yeah, I mean, if you're in a crowded grocery store.
Jeez. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
Well, keep learning.
That's it.
Learning.
That's it.
What is the remedy? What is the remedy for the shedding?
Well, one of them is nicotine. One of them is nicotine, and you don't have to smoke. You can get extracts of nicotine.
Is that I got nicotine gum that someone gave us, and they said it's beneficial for something, and I didn't know what. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it suppresses the and there's a few other things. I actually with guys every week, man, and they are up on all that stuff, and I even got a nicotine toothpicks.
Wow!
I got some good quality cigars every once in a while.
How about a good shot?
Yeah, a little chew. I don't know about that. That's pretty addictive. So I do not know. I'm just saying, like I don't over worry about this stuff, but I just kind of rhythmically take the information.
Well, see, this is the reality. The reality is in every era, in every situation, there are not just survivors, but there are, the ones that thrive through it in every era. And it's all based on knowledge, like you said, knowledge. And the more we share it with each other, the more we know. That's one of the reasons why they're probably going to shut the internet down at some point.
Yeah.
So,
they got a lot to answer for that's available.
Yep.
we were talking earlier. What's really going on there? It's the same struggle. It's part of the plan to make the political and religious world so murky, so crowded with details that it takes too much work for people. I actually trust that it's that way, because I'm a retired guy. I dive deep, man, and I don't believe everything from anybody at all. But I keep rolling, I piece a lot of things together more than I could if I was busy trying to make a living and pay the bills and change the oil, cut the lawn.
Well, see, they know that. Look, they know that the ones like us, because I do the same. I mean, I research more things than you can imagine, like as you do, and I know that there are ones that don't do any. Maybe they're the younger guys, and they're playing games, and they're playing games with each other.
Now
Hello,
Hi, everybody.
Steph, how are you?
Nice to see you.
They're playing games. They're stuck in these games and sports and whatever. So they don't research at all, and that's what they rely on.
Artsy Kim said, make sure you get your vitamin D3.
D3
and
zinc.
There you go.
D3 goes with vitamin K.
K.
We got the two of them together.
Yep.
Annie, you still there?
I had a question. Yeah, I'm still here. Been trying to ask a question.
I know. I could feel it.
And don't mind me, I'm just making dinner in my kitchen.
Well, you jump in when you can. Annie.
Yes, the question is going back to the shedding, and nicotine was mentioned. What about people who are vaping nicotine? Supposedly nicotine was help with that.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I try to avoid smoking it. I smoke. Well, I get around. I do a couple cigars every once in a while. And I got to be careful. That's not easy. You can't handle that easy. And it's got to be a pure cigar. See, actually, pure nicotine cigarettes, obviously, they put so much in there, even to keep the cigarette lit.
Yeah. The
cigar will burn off. Well, you got to
the paper's the problem.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
right.
so-
He's right. I know a little bit about nicotine and cigars and stuff, and the nicotine is actually not bad for you. It can be actually very good. It can be a good thing, but not smoked. I mean, if you're going to smoke it like a cigar, like he said, because it doesn't have all the chemicals in it, it just has the tobacco.
Yeah.
And also you can, ingest it orally too.
So where do you get nicotine? I mean, can you purchase? Where would you purchase it?
Tucker Carlson has his own brand of the oral stuff you eat. I forget what the name of it is.
Drugstores.
But he has his own
Drugstores
brand.
got all kinds. Online, all over.
Yeah.
Just
You know what? I'm gonna bring in some of Anna's information, and I don't have it right now, but next week, tune in next week. I'll
Please do.
Can I
but
just
she is like,
can I just interrupt for a commercial? Not a
Commercial break.
Not a
She has some nicotine to sell. She has some nicotine to sell.
No nicotine. I don't have any.
I'm gonna
Sorry.
start smoking right now.
Okay. My good one put up Debbie's information. Debbie Moore. She's at the Maples at Centennial Park, 510 Centennial Circle, 305 North Platte, Nebraska, 69101. And she would really appreciate cards.
Let's flood her with letters and cards.
Yeah, let's
You're
flood
gonna
her.
get 'em, Debbie.
Yes. So she's doing much better. She's in the nursing home, and from the nursing home, she's going to go to assisted living. So she's a new chapter in her life. So if everyone could support her, that would be great. Yeah. And she also told me that the chair that she got, her daughter's gonna bring that over to her new place.
Oh.
So she'll be able to use the chair that everybody pitched in for.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Love you, Debbie.
Yep. Okay, thank you. All right, what were you saying now about nicotine?
Yeah,
Oh,
there's
yeah.
there's safe ways to get it. That's the difference. Don't count on smoking a lot of it, pipe or anything.
No, I not that. I was just wondering. That's why I talked about vaping. Vaping is not quite the same as smoking.
I
But just
wouldn't recommend vaping. I would not
yeah,
recommend.
I don't think so either
Well,
myself.
just look up therapeutic nicotine. And
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, punch it up.
Yeah, and check out Tucker Carlson's brand. I can't
Tucker
think of what it's
Carlson.
called off the top of my head, but I'm sure if you go to his website, you'll find it.
What's it called? Who is it?
Tucker Carlson.
I don't recognize the name.
Oh, he's like super famous. He was a journalist, and now he with Fox News and a bunch of fame, but now he's got his own I don't know if you call it podcast, but he's on all the platforms, YouTube, and his own Tucker Carlson network.
Tucker
yeah.
Carlson.
Yeah, you'll recognize him when you see him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, for sure. You'll recognize him. Very famous journalist. He's independent now. He's now an independent journalist. Interviews so many fascinating people. And he interviewed Trump and
he got fired from Fox. He got fired from Fox for he was over the target too much at Fox.
Yeah.
He was telling it like it was, and that was too hot for Fox. And Fox is more legit than others.
Yeah.
So he had to be deep into the kitchen of the bad guys.
Yeah, but now he's doing better than ever, making more money now than ever, being on his own, and he's doing great. I watch all of his interviews with people, and he's a good guy.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So what are you cooking, Steph?
I don't know what the name of it would be, but it's I'm making this ground wild boar.
Oh wow.
Wild boar.
And right now I'm chopping up a bunch of fresh garlic and fresh onion and a pepper, and then I'm putting it with polenta.
Oh my God.
Wow. Yep. I
And
know
then
what
you
polenta
put it
is.
with a can of hold on, let me grab it.
Cooking.
Tomato.
Put it with a can of diced fire roasted tomatoes.
Oh, I love those.
And then I throw
Okay,
some
this
frozen. I'll throw some frozen. What's it called? Okra. Frozen okra.
Oh, I like
Wow.
okra. I like okra.
Hey, this is going to be a side cooking with Steph program.
I actually do have a channel, a cooking channel. I haven't posted on it for years and years and years, but it's still there. It's called, funny. I think it's Steph's Cooking Channel.
Oh,
I would make I would make weird things. Like I made something one time called roux balls, like ROO, roux balls. They were meatballs made with kangaroo.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and
if we were in the South anywhere where they have the wild boars, this would be a hunting boar channel.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness! If anyone is not worried about many animals getting killed, they're trying to eradicate the wild boars. They're trying to, but they won't. They can't.
Well, no, they breed like rabbits.
They're horrible. They're horrible.
Very
Horrible
invasive.
creatures.
Yeah, very invasive.
Horrible creatures. Oh my goodness. Horrible creatures.
Yeah. Yeah, they encourage you to hunt them, that's for sure.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I'm chopping everything up and having a glass of white wine.
Of course.
There you go. Well, thank you for coming on. It's so good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you guys.
So we can. I'm going to go back over. I never go over our recording here, but I'm going to
Yeah.
go over
When are you on here till? Sorry.
Oh, 10
till
o'clock
10.
Eastern
Okay.
Standard.
Unless we choose to cut off sooner.
Yeah, we've got
Okay.
about 35 minutes.
Yeah, there's.
Okay.
What were we going to say?
Oh, no, I want to go back over it and outline the points that we covered.
Yeah, I didn't catch the beginning of your show. Sorry.
There's some very absorbing, incisive points, and they're going to resonate, I think.
Oh, yeah, the first video we showed, Jason showed was about Jehovah the Destroyer.
And really, Jehovah is Apollo,
Yes,
and Apollo is the Statue of Liberty.
they all relate.
The Statue of Liberty is not a lady, never was.
Oh, wow.
It's Apollo.
Interesting.
So you have to ask yourself the question, why did they put a monstrous statue of a pagan god in the middle of the harbor of the New World back in when? I 18 something. What do you suppose they were trying to tell us?
That this place is tied to that place.
Yeah. Nothing has changed.
1876.
See, the interesting thing about the pagan religion, pagan gods, and the priestesses, because the priestesses were women. There were no male priests. Priestesses were females. The priestesses, it was all about healing. That's what priestesses were all
That's
about.
right. That's right.
There's a healing priestesshood. And this is interesting. If you do any research on it, the concept, the idea of born again came from them. Born again was a practice, something that you underwent by the priestesses. And born again addresses man's fear of death. Our greatest fear is fear of death.
Yes, yes.
Well, this ritual literally, through drugs and music, put the person into death. It put them to death. And then with drugs, it revived them. Thus they were born again.
Wow.
And thereby overcoming their fear of death. That's where born again originated. It wasn't with quote unquote Christianity. It was not.
Isn't that fascinating?
What's that?
Fascinating.
Oh yeah. And this is information that was basically hidden for years. It was
kind of
hidden in
reminds
Greek.
me of people that have near-death experiences.
Yep.
They're no longer afraid of death.
Right.
Right. Yes, we've heard that many
Right.
times.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Now they have a greater purpose of living.
Hey, we can lighten up the show a little bit. Shauna's got something to show. Not that it's not light. Okay. It's just a little cartoon someone sent us.
Let's see it.
We got to make the font bigger. So it says, "What a lousy trip." Wait a minute.
Whoa, big.
What a lousy trip. It rained the whole time, right? Is that, yeah. That was sent to us by Calvin from Australia.
That's very good, Calvin.
That's clever. Very clever.
Oh well.
That is clever. I love it. Now, you guys know, I'm not trying to change the subject, but
Oh, do.
Do you guys know Jack from Canada? You know, he's with like Rodney Allgood's group.
What's
Zach?
Zach? Did you say Zach?
Jack. Jack.
Oh, Jack, yes.
Oh, Jack, yes.
Jason.
Yes.
Jason.
Him and his family are going to be at my house on Sunday. We're having a get together here.
Whoa.
Oh, wow.
That's great.
Is it like a meetup?
Kind of. I mean, not everybody's invited.
Right.
But
Yeah.
like the ones that have already met him, because he's been here in San Diego before. San Diego Pima will be here.
Oh.
Great. Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah, so I'm kind of looking. I'm doing a big dinner, and it is ExJW thing, but I'm not, you know, I'm not letting it get like too big. But
yeah, no, that's nice.
So some of the ones I'm kind of closer with is basically the ones I invited.
Nice.
Of course.
Oh, that's good.
Beautiful.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Yeah. It's so important to develop our own local community, because we're not always going to be able to rely on the internet. We just, it's not always going to be there to rely on.
Well, I'm speaking about a meetup. Maybe it's a good time now to mention it. Rick Fearon from Six Screens is having a gigantic meetup. He calls it a convention, but we call it a gigantic meetup.
We call it Rick's excellent meetup.
It's still alive in 2025. It's August 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. It's near Boston, Massachusetts, in Tewksbury, where Rick lives. It's going to be at the Hilton, and there's going to be a whole bunch of people there. Apparently, Barbara Anderson's supposed to be there.
Oh,
and,
wow.
Fritz Springmeyer, and a whole bunch of people he's got lined up. So we're just going to look at it. We're looking at it as a big meetup. We're going to get to meet people that, you know, we haven't met yet, and we're looking forward to it. So
I'll see if I can make it. I don't know. I'm going to Jerron's thing in Vegas in September.
Oh, yes, I saw that.
I'm not sure what's all going on with my divorce, you know. So my next court date is in August. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I can't plan anything out real far.
It's okay. Just let us. Yeah, we'd be interested to know if you're coming. Let us know. Even if it's a last minute.
Thanks for letting me know about that. I will definitely try to make it though.
Yep. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of people. He's got at least 500.
Wow.
It's a big auditorium, and it's free to go to the meetup. You just have to pay for your room and food. You know.
Sure. Well, that's fair. Yeah. Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Fran, does he actually have 500, or that's the amount he can handle?
That's the amount he can handle. I'm not sure how many tickets he's given out yet, but quite a few. Anyone else want to come on? We've got a half hour if anyone's interested.
There's so much covered tonight. My head is kind of swimming.
It's true. That's why I said, Nancy, I'm going to go over the recording of it. We never do, but this time I'm going
to. Ours.
Listen.
Yeah.
Just to cover the points.
Yeah. I thought that one with Mel Gibson was really interesting because, you know, people, it's like us. Once we exposed the Watchtower, we were like totally ignored. You know, like the worst thing you could do was to bring them into question.
See, they want to control your identity.
Yeah.
And if you dare to change your identity outside,
I didn't really know too much about Passion of the Christ. I never saw it. I knew it was being made, and I think I remember Mel Gibson was going to be or produce it. But
Well, somehow, and I'm not sure why and how it achieved it. I think it brought it outside of the realm of Hollywood fantasy. I think it presented it as a human drama.
as what?
Our human drama. In other words,
Oh,
something
human drama, okay.
that we personally actually could identify with. That's the because Hollywood didn't like it. They didn't
So
like
what powers were active that these unusual things were happening while they were making the film?
Who the heck knows? Who knows?
This thing's still going down.
He got hit by lightning a couple times.
Yeah.
Do that.
Back.
That's why I told you to keep it up. Yeah.
Something like
That's all right. I mean, it's just not worth it.
I think what it did, it illustrated things that I think that Hollywood didn't want to be responsible for. I can't say exactly. I'm gonna do some research and look into that.
Mhm.
Why they didn't like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have a little thing that happened today.
Little real life drama.
That wasn't planned, but this morning I woke up and I was, going through some things. I've been trying to.
Uh-oh, where'd you go?
I think we lost them temporarily again. So, Stephanie, where do you live?
I live in Oceanside, which is in San Diego County.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And how about the fires?
Not near me, thank goodness. There has been some in San Diego County, but not near me. I'm right near the beach.
Are we back?
Can you hear us?
You're very garbled.
Fuzzy.
Yes, Jack.
We're
It's very
gargling.
It's very garbled.
Try and get back on.
No good, right?
No good. Bad.
Oh.
Okay, we'll get on.
We'll be back.
Hey, Steph, did you on your channel, were you the one that had a story about Rebe Jackson?
No.
When you asked her some question about how do you shun somebody in your family, and she said, I would never shun my brother.
No, that wasn't my channel.
Hello.
Oh, okay.
Can you hear us now?
2-minute
No,
warning.
still bad connection.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, we're gonna cut it short. Regardless.
All
Can
right.
you hear me? Are you able to hear me?
Hello?
Barely.
We can hear you, but you're very staticky, friend. So very staticky.
Well, let's not.
Okay. All right. Yeah, we can just
Thank
end
you so
it.
much, Shauna, for working everything out.
Yes, thank you for all the details tonight.
And thank you all.
Night.
Yeah, sorry to cut
I'm
you
gonna
short.
stop.
Thanks, guys, very much.
Love
Have a
you.
great
Love
evening.
you.
Bye, love you.
Take care.
Good night.
Bye.
Love you. And
Bye.
Night.
In making friends.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. Everything I do so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who patented being negative when you should be getting after it. I got facts over tracks, this and that. Spitting slow, spitting fast. I could roast, I could gas. Think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past. And the pettiness, a reflection of the emptiness. Hilarious, you think you're worth my time, you're delirious. Mysterious, because you hide behind a fake exterior. Inferior, you know I'll always be a bit superior. Get off of me, this ain't no humble brag. I want you to hear words, you can say them back. I want you to feel free from the chains at last, and to believe in what you got,